Carousel.
Yeah.
Carousel.
Yeah.
Carousel. This the carousel. On or you off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off.
What?
Knock 'em out. Carousel.
Yeah.
Carousel.
Yeah.
Carousel. This the carousel. On or you off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off.
What?
Knock 'em out.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel Week 9 edition. So we are pretty much at the halfway point, if you will, of the NFL season. There is no real true halfway point now that we have 17 games as opposed to 16, but I digress. I think it's time we talk to some teams and find out where they're at, how they're feeling, the grades they're giving, and then, of course, let's talk about the matchup that's going to happen this week. So, with all the talk that's been going on in the somewhat great state of OHIO, I thought I should at least talk to some of those in there and kind of get a feel for where they're at. So I want to start, of course, with my man. I want to welcome him back, Mr. Matthew Wilder, our Cleveland Browns representative. Matt, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How about you? I'm feeling much better today.
Good. Thank you. I appreciate you being back. I'm glad you're well rested. So, listen, I want to talk to you about this Cleveland Browns team because you're 500 at 4-4. You've heard all the talk this week. Odell Beckham Sr. posted the 11-minute video with regard to Baker Mayfield not throwing to his son. Baker basically saying, you know what, I was very surprised that this would come out, considering I've had conversations with this man. And now this team is going in to face the Cincinnati Bengals, a top-tier Cincinnati Bengals sitting at 5-3 right now. So give me your thoughts on your team thus far, number one. And then number two, talk to me how you feel about this Baker and Odell situation.
Okay, well, first things first. There's no doubt about it. This is a must-win for the Browns. It has to happen. I mean, I'd hate to say if they don't, it's all over. But if they go 4-5 in this tight race, it's not looking good for this team. So they have to treat this as a must-win, not maybe we can get away with losing by a couple points and we'll still be confident going down the stretch. No, you got to win your division game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no way around it. Has to be done. Really, I think they should defeat Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's defense is top 5 in the league. That's their expectation. We knew they were going to play defense coming out. I mean, that's expected. But I'm disappointed in Jarvis Landry particularly. This cannot be on Baker Mayfield. He was throwing dots. He was super accurate. He did exactly what he had to do. But the thing that really upset me in particular was that play where Jarvis Landry lost the football as he was fighting for more yards. So that's what it appeared anyway. And he should have known there was a third Pittsburgh Steeler in the area. When you're fighting for extra yards and they're standing you up and you're not paying attention to who else is around you and you know you're going to lose the football, do everything you can to secure it. That's football 101. And he failed. And that's unusual for Jarvis Landry. I mean, I know I can't blast him too much for that one because usually he's one of the most intelligent players in the football league. He's got one of the highest IQs I've ever seen in any football player. He knows better than to do that. That's an anomaly. So maybe it's just one of those, hey, it happened. Let it go. He'll learn. Don't worry about it later. Okay. Whatever.
So I got to ask you this because the emergence of D'Ernest Johnson, listen, Cleveland already had two of some of the best running backs in Chubb and Hunt, but now you've got D'Ernest Johnson in there, that third back, if you will. Is this second half of the season going to be more about the run game for you think?
I think that's pretty much a guarantee at this point, especially if Kareem Hunt returns to action. We're going to have to see how that goes. To think that the Browns could potentially have a 3-headed monster at some point this season because all three of these guys can run the ball effectively. We didn't see that as much against Pittsburgh. It was more pass, which I was very surprised about. But that's such a luxury to have. All three of these guys can run the ball. Any one of them can get over 100 yards. So that's going to take some pressure off of Baker. I like it. So I think the Browns need to continue running the ball. And the thing is, Cincinnati is not on the same level as Pittsburgh defensively. Yes, they're playing much better defensively. We haven't seen a Bengals defense play like this in years. But there's a 9-day difference between Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, and it's not even close defensively. So I think there should actually be more hope heading into this game than the last game, even though the Browns do tend to struggle on the road. We know that. But this is a game the Browns can win if they step their A game up. It's all about the mental mistakes at this point. If the Browns avoid getting penalized every 4 plays or whatever, if the Browns can manage to not fumble in key situations and not be down in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, the Browns will win this game. So I think a lot of factors depend on how the Browns are going to do this Sunday. But the Browns need a 10-point lead going to the fourth quarter. And why do I say that? I just don't know about Baker's ability to lead a fourth quarter comeback. He looked like he almost had it last week. He was so close.
All right.
But it just
so, Matthew, I'm glad I have you because I was able to secure a Cincinnati Bengals representative joining us for the first time here on Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel. So good evening, sir. How are you?
What's good, gentlemen? How you guys doing, man?
Doing very well.
I'm doing blessed. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Do me a favor really quick. Please introduce yourself to Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel and let the people know who you are, sir.
My name is VJ Vernon Husky. I am the CEO of Vesta Sports VJ Entertainment Sports Network. I freelance for Fox Sports Radio and ESPN Radio also.
Big time. Okay. So Cincinnati is your squad.
Yes,
looking
sir.
very well this year at 5-3. Yep. So a quick questions I want to ask you. And Matthew, I want to keep you on the screen because I definitely want to hear your thoughts on this as well.
Yeah.
Last season, your quarterback, sir, suffered a sustaining injury, one that some people were unsure he was going to be able to come back from. Well, it looks like he has kept himself in a position to where he can not only thrive, but elevate. He's got a familiar weapon in Jamar Chase. Joe Mixon is starting to look like a running back that we know from years past. And Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins are definitely your 1 and 2 power punch. What's it going to take this weekend? Because it is an AFC North divisional matchup for your Cincinnati Bengals to basically secure a victory against this Cleveland Brown team.
First of all, if I can address some of the things he was talking about with the Cincinnati Bengals, I number one, the defense, I don't think it's as bad as people are making them out to be. The pass defense can't get better, but the rush defense is ninth in the league. Okay. And Cleveland does run the ball well, but we know that they're getting a couple of running backs back from being on the IR, whether it was COVID or whether it was injuries. The game is in Cincinnati also. If it was in Cleveland, then I may say, okay, I think Cleveland's got a shot. I'm a Baker guy. I think Baker gets a bad rap simply because his weapons just aren't always productive and consistent for him, i.e. what we're seeing right now with Mr. OBJ and his dad in the front office and all of that stuff. Excuse for a second, practice that. But when I look at the Cincinnati Bengals, I think they're not getting enough credit. Nobody had them at 5-3. Even myself, and I value myself as a football guru. I didn't have them at 5-3 at this point. Next 4 games are huge. Browns, Steelers, Raiders, and the Chargers are going to tell us a lot. All AFC teams, 2 division opponents are going to tell us a lot about that team. I agree with you with Mixon. I think Mixon's been fine, though. I don't think he's ever had a real slip or anything like that. So you lose your quarterback last year, and now you don't have a quarterback, and now you got to lean on the running game a whole lot more. You're asking Mixon to pretty much almost carry the team. It's like the Giants are asking Daniel Jones to almost carry the team because Saquon's out once again, right? So that's what makes football so great. It's the ultimate team sport. All 53 people have to do their job, 11 on offense, 11 on defense, 11 on special teams. I don't think Higgins and Boyd are the 1 and 2. Chase is 3rd in the league in yards and 4th in the league in touchdowns. Jamar Chase is the number 1 there now, whether people want that or not. Boyd or Higgins, they're out of there after this season. They're going to find some way to move one of those guys, maybe free up some money to bring in some other weapons. But I think they have a shot to make the playoffs. I love the way Burrow is playing. I thought a lot of people thought, including myself, thought Penei Sewell would have been the better draft pick for them. But they didn't go Penei Sewell. They decided to go receiver, and it looks like it's working. It's working out for them.
All right. So, Matthew, along with that, this was supposed to be Cleveland's year. All the pieces that came around and surrounded Baker, along with the coaching of Kevin Stefanski, this was supposed to be the year that Cleveland finally got over that hump, and yet we're still seeing the same mediocre team in the Cleveland Browns. So I have to ask you this question. Should you be successful against your AFC in-state divisional opponent this Sunday, what does this mean for the rest of the month with regard to the teams that you're up against? And how do you feel you're going to be either successful, or is this going to be a one-hit wonder and then the rest of the month you're going to go back to being the same Browns that we know them to be?
Well, first off, I have to say health has been the issue. We all know. I mean, you look at that Browns injury report; it is a laundry list, and it's hard to say that any other team in the NFL has a one that's even worse. Now, hopefully, they'll get as many players back as possible. I mean, I see more limited practices and full practices than did not practice, so that's a sign of encouragement. But two that did not practice today are offensive linemen, so hopefully the Browns are just playing it safe. It could be a simple matter of that. Now, I do think that, ironically, it's quite possible that the Browns' pass scheme will actually open up against the Bengals. And normally they play better with OBJ in the field. I think that's going to be interesting to see how they sort of adjust to that, not having them out there. But that means that somebody on the Browns is going to reap the benefits. And his name is not Jarvis Landry. No, it's Rashard Higgins. And I think he's going to be one of the biggest playmakers in this game on Sunday. Whether the Browns win or lose, that guy's going to rack up some really good stats. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. I have high hopes for Rashard Higgins.
Matthew, before I let you go, please let them know where people can find you. Please stick around, sir. I have one more question I want to ask you. I'm going to give you the last word since you are the home team. But Matthew, please take 30 seconds. Let the people know where they can find you. And again, thank you, sir, and welcome back to the Carousel.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate you having me. Okay, the real Matthew Wilder 216 on Twitter. I also write for NGSC Sports with Ralph Garcia, and I can also be found on Facebook.
All right, so let me get my man back in here because I do have one last question I want to ask you.
Sure.
You said it yourself. You were not expecting this team to be in the position they were in, sitting at 5-3. So my question is simply this: looking at the remaining parts of your schedule, looking how this team is currently constructed, let's be biased here. I'm going to give you the floor. How deep is Cincinnati going to go this season?
Wild card round. I don't see them as a divisional team. Wild card round. Look, the good thing is after the divisional home game against the Browns, they get a bye. Okay, then they're at the Raiders. We don't need to rehash what's going on in Vegas over the last 3.5 to 4 weeks. We have no idea what that team's going to look like when they show up on Sunday. A lot going on there. Steelers at home, Chargers at home, San Fran at home. 3 straight games they can win, can push them up to 9 wins. I think 9 or 10 in the AFC gets you a wild card. They're still fighting for that division. I think Cleveland gets healthy. I think he's right about that. Cleveland gets healthy, things could change. Pittsburgh's just going to fight because they're Pittsburgh. And then the Ravens got L. Jacks. When you got L. Jacks, you got a chance to win every single Sunday. So I like them divisional round. They have to go on the road. That'll be a great step. This team picked 4th. They can get to the divisional round. That is a great move and a great step in the right direction for this franchise. But I'm old enough. You're old enough. We've seen this with the Bengals before. It's like the Lions, right? The Bengals will eventually just bangle. And I hope not, because I like Joe Burrow and I like a lot of their pieces. And it's a city that deserves a winning team right now. I mean, Cincinnati Reds not doing much. So the Bengals got to do something, man. So I like them as a divisional round. I'll call them 10-7 right now. Divisional round loss on the road in a tough fought game. But people will walk away Monday morning. You'll be saying, "Hey, watch these Bengals in the next few years."
Fair enough. I'm just saying, like you said, we're both old enough to know in the regular season under Andy Dalton, the Cincinnati Bengals were one of the best teams in the regular season.
Yep.
But then you were one and done in the playoffs.
Yep.
It didn't matter what position you were. It didn't matter where you fell. You were playing wild card weekend, and that was it.
Yep.
That was your Super Bowl. So I hope you're able to turn the page. I like Jamar Chase. I like T. Higgins. Even Logan Wilson as your linebacker. I'm appreciative of what this team has done. Please, sir, do me a favor again. Let the people know where they can find you at. And thank you so much for being here on the Carousel tonight.
Well, my brother, fellow King, thank you for having me, man. VJ Vernon Husky, you guys can find me on Vesson Sports on Twitter. You can find me on the Vesson Sports channel on YouTube. And you guys can also find me on the Vesson Sports Network channel on Spreaker.com and VJ's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, my sports talk radio show on iHeartRadio and on Spreaker.com also. Thank you guys for having me. Yeah, you guys stay blessed. Enjoy your football this weekend.
Carousel, 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 this the carousel. On or you off, either you're on or you're off, either you're on or you're off. Knock 'em out. Carousel, 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 this the carousel. On or you're off, either you're on or you're off, either you're on or you're off. Knock 'em out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep it going here on Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel. So As much as this pains me, and I've heard way too much this week about one particular team, I have to give them their due again and allow them to come on this show tonight and yet again talk about how they are the 6-1 team, leader of the NFC East, and are making a run. My only hope, my only saving grace, because Kirk Cousins, you ain't it, is maybe, just maybe, Teddy Two Gloves can hook a brother up, but it is in Jerry world. With that being said, I have to welcome in the Queen of Hoops, Miss Megan Price, and our man.
Kirk, what happened? Sorry. Sorry.
I'm gonna take that, Megan. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that one.
Okay.
You got me on that one. Please help me welcome in Jordan Long. Jordan, what's going on, man? How are you? Welcome back to the Carousel.
Thank you, Eric, and hi, Megan. I'm doing good. I mean, it's been an interesting week for the Denver Broncos, to say the least.
Yeah, to say the very least, it has been. So let me do this. I don't want to debate tonight because we're halfway through the season. I just want to talk about y'all's teams, and I'm just going to throw out some questions to both of y'all, and please feel free to chime in on either one. So I'm going to start with you, Jordan, because I don't want to hear about the Cowboys right now. You're sitting at 4-4, and Teddy Two Glove has been your guy, Teddy Bridgewater, but you lost Von Miller. When the news came down, Jordan, what was your first initial thought?
My first initial thought was, why would we get rid of Von Miller? We are definitely thin at the linebacker position with Josie Jewell out. Alexander Johnson out, and of course Bradley Chubb out. It was supposed to be, Robin and Batman with Bradley Chubb and Von Miller. We never got to see them. And then you make the trade for Kenny Young and Stephen Weatherly. And then also the other thought is, why? Why would you get rid of a franchise player? But on the flip side, as I've thought about this, is you're letting Von Miller go ahead and have a chance at a ring. The Broncos, let's be honest, they're not going to win a Super Bowl this year. Maybe not next year. We're in rebuild mode, so why not get as many draft picks as you can and let the young guys step up?
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Megan, you've had a whole hour and change all this entire week to talk about your team, but I do have to ask this question. Is Dak going to play on Sunday?
He was ruled healthy earlier today, so yes, definitely.
Wait. Okay, he was ruled healthy. Don't mean he's playing. I mean,
I anticipate 100% to see him. I'm a little more concerned about some of the other injuries. Amari had some hamstring issues at the end of the game.
Amari Cooper, $100 million man, Amari Cooper.
Yes.
$100 million walking
best receiver in the league.
Whatever.
Best receiver in the league.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I will say this one time and one time only for those who are in the waiting room. CeeDee Lamb is better than Amari Cooper. Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But CeeDee Lamb also has an ankle injury at the end of the game also. So, and then Tyron Smith was ruled out. So those are some injuries that I'm concerned about. I definitely don't want to see CeeDee Lamb tweak his ankle or Amari with his hamstring. So, hopefully they were able to have some rest this week from practice and come in fresh against the Broncos, because even though they lost Von Miller, I feel like that secondary is going to come in with a chip on their shoulder. I feel like Surtain has been playing excellent. I know he doesn't get a whole lot of news because Micah Parsons is playing so great. Diggs is playing so great. So sometimes people overlook Surtain. I'm not.
You're welcome, by the way, from Micah Parsons.
You are. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. He traded one blue outfit for another. It was just the wrong blue one that he traded for, but I will give you credit. Micah Parsons, Penn State linebackers seem to have an affinity with going to Jerry World. I don't know why.
You saw him cry on draft night, right? That's where he wanted to be.
He was crying because he didn't want to go. He was crying because he was trying to stay in Philly, but whatever. Let me flip back over to Jordan here. Yes, Jordan. So, okay, Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, Cortland Sutton. Now, Cortland Sutton has been a guy that I have admired since seeing him at the NFL Combine a few years ago. What has been his issue? Why have we not heard that name more as the years have progressed?
Because of the quarterback play. I mean, you look at Drew Lock a couple of years ago when we had Sutton as a rookie. Of course, Sutton was hurt last year, but even so, Drew Lock with throw the ball in double coverage, even trying to go for Cortland Sutton and be picked off. For Teddy Bridgewater, yeah, he looked at him a couple of times last week, but for whatever reason, he's covered and Bridgewater goes to the check down. Cortland Sutton, for whatever reason, is getting double teamed. He can't break away from the defenders in some games. We know what he can do. He is one of our faster receivers, but the fact of the matter is when you didn't have Jerry Jeudy for the last few weeks, that hurt us. But the fact of the matter is defenses are pressuring either Teddy Bridgewater or even when Drew Lock was a quarterback to throw it to somebody else. So when you do that and you go ahead and defend Cortland Sutton, someone else is open, and that's why we haven't seen a whole lot from him. But I'd like to see more from Cortland, especially with Jerry Jeudy back.
Okay. All right. So, Jordan, I'm going to go to you real quick, and then I'm going to go to you, and then I'm going to finish with our girl, Miss Megan Price. So, Jordan, give me your difference maker in this game, and whether you feel like they're going to win or not. And I'm in your corner this weekend. I'm just letting you know I'm in your corner to beat Dallas. Give me your final score and give me your X factor.
Well, if the Broncos are going to win, it's going to have to be one of those tight games, 17-10. And I'm going to say the X factor is going to be our punter. I hate to say that because of the fact that, punters can make or break your game. But if you're going to look at the defense, it's got to be the the defensive line of Shelby Harris helping out Stephen Weatherly and Kenny Young getting to either Dak Prescott or stopping the run. I just honestly don't see how the Broncos win this game.
Listen, have faith. Have faith. I need you to have faith. Believe in Teddy Two Gloves. Believe in Noah Fant.
I believe in those guys. I just don't know if I believe in the coaching staff.
Yeah, I know. Miss Megan Price, please go ahead. Finish it up, please.
I feel like our difference maker is going to be the same difference maker that was in the game against the Vikings, and that's our defense. The Denver O-line allowed 4 sacks and 7 QB hits last week. I need them to come in. I need our defense to come in and play exactly how they played in the Vikings game. We look solid. We look tough. Now our pass defense our rush defense is not, elite, but it's respectable. So, I want them to keep that same energy, come in. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a blowout, but I do think we beat you by 10 plus points. So I'm going to say 33-21.
Wow. 10 plus she's hanging on y'all. All right. Fair enough. Jordan, please let the people know where they can find you, followed by the one and only Miss Megan Price. And thank you both for being here tonight on Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel. Jordan?
Thank you, Eric. You can find me on the NBA Carousel on Monday nights. You can also find me on the NFL Carousel here on Thursday. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsScoop1. Find my blog at www.sportscoop.com.
Thank you so much for having me on, guys. You can find me later tonight at 8:15 Eastern on the Sip Off, where we have drinks and talk all things basketball. Mondays and Wednesdays at 10 Eastern on the Sports Arena, hosted by Eric Wilson. Mondays at 8 Eastern on the NBA Carousel, hosted by me. And then Wednesdays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern for Women Wednesdays on 806 Sports. And if you want to find me on social media, search Queen of Hoop on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Thanks, guys.
Carousel. 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 This the carousel. On or you off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Knock 'em out. Carousel. 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 This the carousel. On or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Knock 'em out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel here on a Thursday night. And I want to go out west for a minute because I'm just saying this NFC West matchup that's happening at Levi Stadium, I think is really going to be truth-telling for both these two teams. One team sitting at 3-4 in the San Francisco 49ers, and the other team sitting at 7-1. They did get their first loss, albeit to the Green Bay Packers. But now they've had 10 days off to right the ship and get themselves prepared. So I got to go to my brother, believe in the Pac-12, Mr. Michael Caratanudo's in the building. What's up, Mike?
What up, yo? How you feeling after last night? You okay?
Yeah, last night I had to. I wish it was the sip off because I drank myself retarded listening to y'all talk to the Cowboys for an hour. But I digress. Talk to me about these Cardinals, Mike. What's been the talk of the town, especially after that loss they did suffer to Green Bay? 3 points though. It was only 3 points. So
yeah, I mean, the one thing about it, the defense again played well. They made plays. I know the Packers got their running game going, which consistently, you knew they'd get some runs, but I didn't think it'd be as consistent as it was. The few takes from the game, I mean, I know you listen to a lot of protagonists talking about, the Packers and minus what is going on with Rodgers now, but, are they the favorite? And I look at it like this, Eric. Yeah, they won the game. Fine, hats off to them. They had the ball twice as long. They try to keep Murray off the field. But the defense in the second half completely did step up. Aaron Rodgers gets batted down. They drive down the field. I mean, we talked about it on Monday. If A.J. Green turns around, it's a different ball game. I mean, and look, miscommunication happens. So I err on the side of, yes, a win is a win, and it's tough to get a win in the NFL, but if the Packers can only beat them by 3, I would love for the Cardinals to match up with the Packers later on in the season too, if it happens. But looking at this contest, it's about the defense. I mean, it's a defense that I think is tied for I guess you could say 6th in touchdowns given up in the league, which isn't bad. I think that yards-wise, they're a top 7. Hold on. They're a top 5 defense. So it's one of those things where they're in the top 6. They're 6th in defense right now in yards given up per game. And those are stats. Again, people always talk about number 1 defense. And you and I have talked about this. I mean, points and yards. People can get yards in garbage time if you're down by 30 or 40, 30 or 40. It's not the NBA. If you're down by, 10, 15 points, 21 points, whatever, you're down by 3 touchdowns. But they're just not giving those up consistently. And that's what, again, I take away from the Packers game. Look, we know they weren't going undefeated, but this is a Niners team that, people are little whispers about Trey Lance, and they had to go back to Jimmy Garoppolo. And look, I know they lost with Trey Lance here a few weeks ago, 17-10. The Cardinals held them to 10 points when they had to. It was Lance's first start. But Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, he wins games. He puts the team in position to win games. So it'll be interesting to see, because I know Brandon Ayuk started to come on a little bit. My Sun Devil, Deebo Samuels look good. So the defense, again, they're going to have their hands full. Losing J.J. Watt, like I told you, I mean, that just sucks. Because, again, it's not about him getting sacks. It's about the pressures. It's about what he meant for the other guys on the line and the leadership that we know he brings in the locker room, but on the field. Right. You get Chandler Jones back. You could see he was, by the end of the game, he's kind of starting to get his game legs back. So that's huge. That secondary, look, man, I love that secondary. I mean, Budda Baker, we know obviously he can get caught by DK Metcalf. But besides that, there ain't much that Budda Baker. And, so I think defensively, Cardinals fans are happy. You should be.
I mean, listen, you're 7-1. You have no reason not to be happy.
Exactly. Everybody wants to jump off the ship. It's crazy.
You've got that loss under your belt. Now you're not necessarily playing with house money. You're playing it easy, but you don't have to have that added pressure of when are we going to lose? Because that's always, it's in the back of their head, whether they want to agree with it, admit to it or not. Once you get that first one out the way, okay, well then now we can start reassessing and saying, okay, let's get back to playing Arizona Cardinal ball. Mike, give me your difference maker. Give me your final score on this game.
Well, I think my difference maker, I'm going to go with James Conner. I think if Kyler Murray does play, because that's been the issue, he obviously hurt his ankle last week. Colt McCoy's been obviously taking a huge percentage of the number 1 snaps. I don't even think Murray practiced in team yesterday. He was there, but I know Murray wants to play, but to your point, I'm 7-1. But I think James Conner. I know Chase Edmonds doing well. I think James Conner has been getting in the red zone. I think he starts to bust more runs. I know I saw an article saying, James Conner is back to being James Conner. Well, we all know what happened with the Pittsburgh line towards the end of his time there. He was banged up, but he's been a key piece of this game. And yeah, people talk about the receivers in the flash. I think A.J. Green's out with COVID protocols. So I look at it like this. James Conner to me, and Edmonds has to step up, but I'm going to go with James Conner. And Eric, lastly, I mean, to your point, huge division game. They'd sweep the Niners and put the Niners at 3-5.
Yeah.
Man, that's a long, like you said, that's a long hill up to climb, especially with Russell Wilson coming back for Seattle. We'll see what they do. They're still look. Everybody's still chasing. I thought it would be a 3-team race with Seattle on the outside, but now it's a 2-trick pony race with the trade the Rams made. So everybody's chasing the Cardinals and the Rams. Obviously, the Cardinals have that victory, so that's why they're still up top over the Rams. But yeah, look for James Conner to have a big game, and please keep being on the side. My last note for you, my wonderful friend, please keep being on the side of the teams that play Dallas, because you can put that Philly juju on them.
Hey, Mike, every Sunday I cheer for Philly and whoever's playing against Dallas. It does not matter. My brother, Mike Caratanudo, Mondays and Wednesdays along with me on the Sports Arena. Believe in the Pac-12. Basketball's coming back. Make sure you check him out. This brother's covering every facet of sport from top to bottom. Phenomenal job. I love you, Mike. I will holler at you soon, my brother.
You're the best.
Thank you. So he brought up Pittsburgh, and I'm glad he did that because Mike knows how to lay one up for me so I can knock it out the park. Let's go to the Monday night matchup, which features the 3-5 Chicago Bears heading to Heinz Field to face the 4-3 Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, just as a reminder, last year, the Pittsburgh Steelers started off the season 11-0 before they fell off the map. So I want to bring in the international superstar and the young phenom that is Daniel Baguerigo, just to talk about his Pittsburgh Steelers. Daniel, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing great, Eric. How are you doing?
I'm well, sir. Listen, this year, your team has shown signs of being somewhat different a little bit. They had such an amazing run last season to start the season, like I said, before they fell. But now it seems like this team is starting to show who they really are. At the halfway point, what do you feel about your Pittsburgh Steelers?
These past three weeks have been great. I mean, the defense have been showing up in big times. The offense have been running the ball well. They've been getting to the end zone, and I think that's been the vocal part. Matt Canada's offense has been working very well because the past few weeks before the season started, it wasn't looking great. They couldn't run the ball. All the throws of Ben were just slants to Deontay Johnson or Juju Smith-Schuster, which is a plain boring offense that's very expected to know what they're gonna do. And I think Matt Canada has mixed in some fakes and mixed in some good plays. I mean, Najee Harris just got Offensive Rookie of the Year, and he scored touchdowns in the last games he's played. And I think Najee Harris is just coming into an effect. He's showing what he really is, and the offensive line has been working very, very well. And TJ Watt is TJ Watt. Nobody's stopping him right now. And that defensive line is still one of the best in the game, even though Melvin Ingram will let him go to KC.
Okay, but you neglected to mention Chase Claypool. So I want to talk to you about him. What are your thoughts on him? I mean, he did have 61 yards, 45 in the reception, 16 in the rush last week. And he's had 70 reception yards in 3 of his last 4 home games this season. So talk to me about him for a minute.
Well, I think Chase has been great, but not the best, and not what we expected at least from him in the preseason. He hasn't been targeted a lot. I mean, they want to go to Deontay Johnson more. They feed Najee Harris the ball, which I think is the best way to do it. But they use Chase Claypool in a way that they want to mix him in with the run game, and I think it's working very, very well. Run that one jet sweep a game, get him 20 yards on the run. I think it's working well. I mean, the receiving's not been there, but otherwise it's been pretty well, and he's been a decent blocker and making room for Deontay Johnson to get wide open, who's been spectacular this season with his hands.
Now, the Bears lead this all-time series with you and Pittsburgh, Chicago and Pittsburgh, and they've won the past 3. So why is this Monday night game going to be any different than what we've seen in the past?
The Bears have a rookie quarterback. No disrespect to Justin Fields. He's going to be a good talent in the future, but he's not looking great right now. He got 3 picks last time out in Tampa. He got another interception last week against the San Francisco 49ers. Justin Fields is still young. He's still developing. I don't think he should be starting, actually, because he's not fit to start at all. And Dalton maybe should go in there and take some shots, but Justin Fields is still young. Khalil Mack might be out. He's still questionable to play. And our defense. Our defense is spectacular. Najee Harris is the real deal.
All right, fair enough. The international phenom that is Mr. Daniel Bacuetico. Please let everybody know where they can find you, sir. And thank you, as always, for being on Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel.
I want to thank Eric for this opportunity, and I want to thank you guys. You can find me on Facebook, NFL Greatest Debate Room. We talk a lot of football out there on Facebook, and Extreme NBA Debate Room on Facebook as well. NBA season getting ready back up. It's getting real nice, and thank you.
Daniel, appreciate it. So the last time I talked to my next guest, her and I were kind of at odds with each other. We had a bit of a disagreement, but I think we're okay now. I really do. Her team has a better record than my team does. She's sitting at 4-4, and Philly is Philly. We're not even going to get into that. But I do want to talk to her because she's facing a familiar opponent this Sunday. And I'm talking about the Carolina Panthers, who are hosting Bill Belichick, Mac Jones, and the New England Patriots. So please let me help you welcome in my friend, Jen Lewis. What's going on, Jen?
Hey, Eric. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I love that skyline, by the way. I love your backdrop. We need to make a postcard out of that because that is
I know,
amazing.
right? My husband's making me to move out of uptown. I'm mad at him.
Oh, no.
I know,
no,
right?
No,
I'm going to have to get my own little crib that he doesn't know about.
So, Jen, you and the Carolina Panthers this week are hosting the New England Patriots without Tom Brady. But even with Tom Brady, you still lead this series. What is it about
and even under Belichick?
Right. So what
Tom Brady had to leave the Patriots to be able to beat the Panthers. Just saying. And Luke had to retire.
Yeah, you're right about that. Talk to me about Sam Darnold. I got to know about your quarterback. Where's he at right now?
Same as I was just reading the injury report earlier today. He's still limited, but he's still in concussion protocol. I don't think he's playing this weekend. So I think it'll be PJ Walker. There's a lot to be said, good and bad, about PJ. I will say, watching him in the XFL, I saw a lot of moments of shining moments. How I feel about this weekend, I don't know. I will say last weekend, our O-line started standing up, and starting to gel, but I'm afraid to say that because every time I think that, they screw up. But I know Cam Irving was limited today. Stephon Gilmore was limited today because of a quad injury. Shaq was full participation.
Okay.
Shaq being back on defense.
Yes.
Is just as important as Christian being back. And Christian is practicing again. And he might play this weekend. I know he wants to play because personally, this is one of my favorite matchups. Like, I love it when we play the Patriots. Like, I remember Thursday Night Football 2014, maybe. I mean, you could feel Bank of America shaking. Like, you could feel it moving. Like, it was packed.
Okay.
It was lit. You could feel it. It was like, geez, I'm glad it's structurally sound. But I think this will be a really good weekend. The Panthers are very complimentary of Mac Jones.
Yep.
In a way, we both have, brand new starting quarterbacks. So, but PJ and Matt Rule do go back, which is good. That's why PJ's in our squad. We did keep him over Megan Price's backup quarterback, Will Greer.
I know.
So, yeah, that made me happy. Sorry, Megan, love you, girl, but thanks for taking Will off my hands.
Exactly, and he's working well where he's at. So, congratulations.
Exactly.
My hats to you on that one.
I actually think we can win. I think it'll still be a tight game. I see being a field goal.
Mm-hmm.
But Patriots O-line still isn't that great, and our defense is that great. Like, our D knows how to get those sacks.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know how well the Patriots are doing on sacks. They're not where our numbers are. So, I forgot to look up that stat. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's all
but
good.
I'm excited.
Sacks, I mean, right now, when I look at this, and I can pull it up for you, So currently, sack leaders for both teams. Matt Judon has 8. Hassan Reddick has 7.5. So, I mean,
Okay.
across the board, I think you guys are okay. The biggest piece, I think, for myself when I look at this is if PJ Walker is going to play, then PJ Walker needs to prove why he should no longer ever be having to go back to the XFL. He needs to have a true NFL type game. Now, listen, we all know that if CMC, aka White Lightning, aka Christian McCaffrey, is in the house, he gonna run through that defense. We know that to be the case. Where, and I can't even find him, so that must mean he's out. But where the heck is Robbie Anderson?
Robbie Anderson was never mind. I'm not sure where Robbie is.
We'll put out an APB on Robbie. Okay, that's good.
Yes, we will. Let's do it. Let's go look in New York for some jewelry stores. Maybe we'll find him there.
Oh, she went there, ladies and gentlemen. This is my friend, Jen Lewis. Let everybody know where they can find you, Jen.
I am on the NBA Carousel on Monday nights, hosted by Miss Megan Price. I am on Snowman in the Mornings on occasion, obviously on NFL Carousel, Reddit, and Facebook and Twitter. And I look forward to talking with you guys.
Carousel, carousel, carousel. This the carousel. On or you off, if you're on or you're off, if you're on or you're off. Knock 'em out. Carousel, carousel, carousel. This the carousel. On or you off, if you're on or you're off, if you're on or you're off. Knock 'em out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for my next guest, he's wearing double duty. He's doing 2 hats for me, 2 teams. I wish I could put him on both sides of the screen so I could get one side of my man, John Scheer, talking about his beloved Miami Dolphins, even though they are 1-7, versus the other John Scheer talking about his 5-2 Baltimore Ravens. With that, I welcome in Fox Sports, 1340 AM, DB and ATV, Sideline Sports, Cardiac Cane, Fin Fanatic, John Scheer. What's up, brother?
Hey, how's it going? Got a lot to talk about tonight. I mean, I'm okay with, more me. I'm okay with that. So, I mean, if we can make that happen, clone me, whatever, that's cool with me. More of me, the better.
We're going to work it out. So let's start with the team that you love, and that is your Miami Dolphins, who are hosting the Houston Texans. Both teams are 1-7. John Scheer, please enlighten me and the rest of our Alex Fleming NFL Carousel audience that Miami is going to get the victory this Sunday, please.
Look, if you look at the final box score of that Bills game, the Dolphins defensively didn't play bad at all. It was 17-11 in the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter. So the Dolphins went toe-to-toe with the Bills. It's just the Bills went down and got a field goal to make it a 9-point game, and then they went and got a touchdown. So really, I mean, the Dolphins held their own against the Bills. They've been in a lot of these games that they've been playing. Bills game was tough. The Raiders game was tough. The Jags game was tough. The Falcons game was tough. These are all close losses. Don't get me wrong. Like these are all games the Dolphins were in. They gave the Bucs a little bit of a fight even in the first half in their game. So the Dolphins have been in these games. They just haven't been able to close out the games. And Tua is hurt again. He has a left finger injury. His rib apparently is hurt again. So maybe that he hasn't been 100%. The Dolphins just weren't telling you the full story in that because he has a rib problem. And if he had the rib problem earlier, chances are it never went away. And the Dolphins, we know they don't give you the full story. Their front office and all that. They don't give you the full story. We know how that goes with Watson.
This is very true. So let's talk about if Tua is unable to play a full game. What does that mean for guys like Jalen Waddle, Devontae Parker, and in what I'm calling his security blanket, another Penn State guy, Mike Gesicki?
Yeah, I love that draft pick, by the way, when we drafted him. I mean, Jacoby Brissett, again, he can throw a lot of yards and touchdowns. He can. He's shown signs of that. But, I mean, he's playing the Houston Texans, a team that really doesn't have anything to play for. The only issue is Tyrod Taylor's back, and he's a lot better than Davis Mills. So there's that issue, and he's a mobile quarterback. relatively mobile, and that's something the Dolphins struggle with. And their defense is one of the worst in the league. They're second to last in points per game given up. So with Brandon Cooks and Philip Lindsay and those guys, I think this could be a really high-scoring game for fantasy and NFL purposes. This is going to be a high-scoring game. And if it comes down to the wire, I just don't know who's going to win because we've been losing every close game possible this year. So, I mean, I like to say we're going to win, but 1-7, you can never guarantee anything.
Listen, maybe it's about time you break that cycle and you know, close the game out. Close it out and make sure Houston remains only one-win team because, you know, our boy Mike said they go 0-17. I'll take 1-16. So let me move you over here really quick. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's not like our first-round draft pick matters to us because you guys have it. So it don't matter to me. You know, that doesn't help me.
All right, let me switch you over here so I can get the Baltimore side of John shit. Now, listen, John, you already know I'm in your corner this week because I can't stand some Kirk Cousins. He done let me down far too many times. So I need El Freaky to handle his business. I need Latavius Murray and Le'Veon Bell and Devontae Freeman, the running backs that nobody wanted, who have now come in and just resurged themselves. I need Hollywood to just go off. I need Mark Andrews. I need a Jackson 5 on that Minnesota defense. And more importantly, I need Calais Campbell or somebody else on that defense to put number 8 on his backside for me one time. And I'm talking about Kirk Cousins.
Oh, it's going to happen. It's
Thank you,
going to
John.
happen a lot.
Preach.
Baltimore does have the worst pass defense in the NFL. I will say that. I looked it up, and Miami has the second worst. So talking about two teams that have the two worst pass defenses in football. However, the Ravens are one of the best rush defenses in football, which means you stop Dalvin Cook. We know how the Tennessee Titans operate, Derrick Henry to Ryan Tannehill. That's how it works. It's a play-action game that sets that up. But if you take away Dalvin Cook with the Vikings, then you make Kirk Cousins pass the ball and be the primary guy. And when he's the primary guy, Cowboys shut down Dalvin Cook. He didn't do a whole lot. And what happened? He forced Kirk Cousins to be the guy. He'll have a games, like I keep telling Ty this, 400 yards and 3 touchdowns, and then he has games against the Cowboys where he loses a Cooper Rush because he can't do anything. And Trayvon Diggs got hurt in the game, and there's no DeMarcus Lawrence. That's Kirk Cousins. And now he's going into M&T Bank, and the Ravens lost to the Bengals embarrassingly in M&T. The Ravens are going to be on a revenge tour, and it starts this Sunday against the Vikings. They're going to shut down Dalvin Cook. The receivers are going to eat. They typically always do, but I mean, they're going to sack Kirk Cousins 6 times, I would say. I was thinking 3 turnovers, 2 fumbles, and an interception. I see them frazzling him, giving him a lot of issues, and then he starts to get, flustered and he starts turning the ball over. So I really think the Ravens run away with this one like the Bengals did against them, and they end up winning probably 38-13.
John, from your lips to God's ears, because that would be a beautiful thing. I'm telling you, I will truly. Oh,
that made Kirk Cousins.
Birds of a feather got to stick together. So
that made Kirk Cousins. I started him in fantasy in a spot start. I was like, all right, he'll give me 18, 20 points. Now you get me 13, and I lose by 1.5. Thank you, Kirk Cousins, for costing me my week. But all you had to do was, I could have started Cooper Rush in one. How does Cooper Rush outperform you? How? This isn't Dak Prescott. They shut down Zeke. It's not like he did a whole lot. And Cooper Rush is like, yeah, let me go out there and just torch his Minnesota Viking defense. And like you said, prime time, Sunday Night Football. You have everything set up for you to go beat the Cowboys. You've been preaching. Your fans been preaching about how you've been losing all these close games. It's going to be different this time. No. You're the same old Vikings, same old Kirk Cousins. Get out of here with that nonsense. The only purple team that matters is the Baltimore Ravens.
Amen. John Shea, let the people know where they can find you, my brother.
Of course, Fox Sports 1340 AM, Cardiac Kane, and Fin Fanatic on Fansided. Sideline Sports, Tuesday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Every morning, 4 a.m. Eastern Time on DBNA Television. Sideline Sports is playing on there, so you check that out. You're going to want to check out the Sports Arena Monday, Wednesday nights, 10 Eastern Time. Got a lot of things going on. And then, of course, the NFL Carousel right here. Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel, because we never forget Alex Fleming.
Carousel. 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 This the carousel. On or you off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Knock 'em out. Carousel. 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 This the carousel. On or you off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Knock 'em out.
I want to take a moment and thank everybody for joining us here tonight on Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel Week 9 edition. So I saved the best for last, in my opinion, because when you go out and you secure a first ballot future Hall of Famer in Von Miller and bring him to an already stacked defense that included Leonard Floyd, Jalen Ramsey, and Aaron Donald, yeah, I know one man who is extremely happy as I bring him on. This is our man. The Playmaker is in the building. Playmaker.
What's going on, Eric? It's been a minute.
I like that hat, man. I like that hat. I see you.
Oh, yeah. I'm working the old man. I'm trying to get ready. I'm headed down to South Florida this weekend to celebrate my birthday coming up. But
hey, well,
I told you I was going to make time for you, and that's what I'm doing.
I appreciate you, brother, as always, for being here tonight. So, man, let me ask you. When the news came down and you heard that this trade happened, that you were adding Von Miller to your already stacked defense, please tell me what was the first thing that went through your mind?
Oh, they got me ready to go to work that day. It was a Monday. I'm like, man, I got to go back to work. I got to close. And I'm like, because usually I'll take a nap, but I'm like, I don't feel like taking a nap. All of a sudden, the news bro said, oh, it's over. Oh, it's over. Oh my gosh. That's all I needed to know, because here's the thing. Everybody wants to criticize Les Snead because he's giving away draft picks, right? What people fail to realize, Aaron Donald, drafted by the Rams. Cooper Kupp, drafted by the Rams. Vance Jefferson, drafted by the Rams. Cam Akers, drafted by the Rams. Derrick Henderson, drafted by the Rams. Taylor Rapp, drafted by the Rams. Jordan Fuller, drafted by the Rams. Robert Wishay, drafted by the Rams. The players that you've been seeing on the field, been drafted by the Rams. So we have been doing good in drafting. The fourth rounders, the third rounders, the fifth rounders. We drafted good. But everybody want to look at the big names and like, oh, you traded for Jalen Ramsey. Hey, give her 2 first picks. Come on, Jalen. We'll take you. Detroit don't want to get rid of Matt Stafford. We'll give her 2 first-round picks. Come on. And then we give up a second and third for Von Miller. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy, Eric? Did you know the Rams are number 1 in quarterback pressure? The Rams are number 1 in sacks. This is before Von Miller's coming. Now you add Von Miller. So let's see what you say. Leonard Floyd and Aaron Donald on that line. Sebastian Joseph Day when he's healthy. Ashawn Robinson when he's ready. Oh, by the way, don't even forget my draft pick. Terrell Lewis can come off the edge too. It's only get better. I keep telling people, don't worry. Yeah, you look at the defense. The defense ranked 24th overall, but hey, don't worry. It's coming. It's coming. You're starting to see Jalen Ramsey getting to the ball now. You're starting to see Taylor Rapp getting 2 picks on Daniel Jones. Ernest Jones, who we replaced Keenan Young with, got an interception on David Mills. Don't worry. The defense is starting to come, and Von Miller is going to add to it.
All right. So, listen. If Derrick Henry was coming to SoFi Stadium, I would say I'm slightly worried. I take nothing away from Adrian Peterson and Jeremy McNichols, but they're not Derrick Henry. Let's be very clear about that.
Ain't nobody is going to replace Derrick. Derrick Henry was almost at 1,000 yards 8 games into the season. The second leader rusher is Jonathan Taylor, who's getting ready to play right now.
Right.
Jonathan Taylor was almost 300 yards behind Derrick Henry. That's how much Derrick Henry means. I talked about it on Remy Talk today. The game's not going to be as exciting as it would be if Derrick Henry was there.
Right.
Because you're talking Aaron Donald versus Derrick Henry. 2 monsters. Which one wants it more?
Exactly. The irresistible force meets the immovable object. And unfortunately, we don't get to see that matchup. But going into this game, Tennessee, sitting at 6-2, knows that Ryan Tannehill has to be the guy now. What is your expectation for this Tennessee offense going up against your newly formed defense?
It depends on if Julio Jones is playing.
Okay.
Because A.J. Brown is going to get Jalen Ramsey, which he's familiar with because they played each other.
Yeah.
When Jalen Ramsey was in Jacksonville. The problem is, though, Von Miller don't have to play every snap. Von Miller don't have to be a main part of the defense. You let the defense that's already there do what they do best. And when it's time, bring in Von Miller. Because guess what? Y'all going to have to choose. Do we double Aaron Donald? Do we double Von Miller? Who's going to take out Leonard Floyd? You got to pick your poison.
Is this going to be a close game?
No. I'm sorry.
No.
No.
Okay. Don't apologize. It's your team.
No.
You 7-1. Don't apologize.
Oh, and I'm apologizing because it's like when I looked at the schedule, I said, okay, we got Tampa. That's going to be test 1. We got Arizona. That's test number 2. We got Seattle. That's test number 3. Tennessee's is the next test because it's Sunday Night Football. You're talking about King Henry. You're talking about that offense. And Mike Vrabel's a good coach. No Derrick Henry. Okay, McNichols is the backup. All right. He's good, but he's not Derrick Henry. The pressure is on Ryan Tannehill. And you look at it. If they didn't have Derrick Henry last week, they would have lost that game. Because they stuck to what they know enough to that Ryan Tannehill had able to find A.J. Brown. You don't have that. You don't have that no more.
Right.
And right now, Les Snead and the Rams are showing y'all that y'all seen what Tampa Bay did last year. When Tom Brady went to Tampa Bay, what happened? Here come Gronk. Here come AB. Here come Leonard Fournette and Dominican Sue. Les Snead say, you know what? All right, Tom. I seen what you did last year. Super Bowl was in Tampa. Super Bowl was in L.A. We coming for it all. And best believe we coming for it. Everybody compete. You can pick the Cowboys to be number 1. You can still rely on Tom Brady because Tom Brady is Tom Brady. He's the GOAT for the reason. But just know, Les Snead and Sean McVay said, don't forget where the Super Bowl is being played at.
Playmaker, let the people know where they can find you, my brother. And as always, thank you for being on Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel.
And thank you, Alex Fleming. Thank you for choosing me to be a part of this. You and Eric, I appreciate it every time I'm on here. Y'all can find me on Facebook, Pioneer Playmaker Silence on Facebook. I do Ramley Talk. I do Arch Rivals. That's on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Sometimes I appear on special shows like this, the NFL Carousel. I was on the Sip Off last week. I do all types of stuff. So y'all just follow me on all platforms.
Appreciate you, brother. I'm going to holler at you. Hey, be safe down there in South Florida, and happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we get out of here, let's go over some of these other games that we did not talk about tonight, and I'm just going to run them down real quick for you. So tonight's matchup is the New York Jets at the Indianapolis Colts. I'm taking the Jets on that game. Let's see, what else we got? Buffalo at Jacksonville. I got Buffalo. Atlanta versus New Orleans. That's going to be an interesting matchup. Surprising, even though I'm not a Matt Ryan fan, I am going to take the Falcons on that game. Vegas at the Giants. Listen, I need the Giants to continue not to be as great. Vegas, they got rid of John Gruden. You know, I'll take a moment and say to Henry Ruggs III, my brother, I hope someone does reach out to you, put their arms around you and support you. Take accountability, and hopefully you will get a second chance in this league. I am going to take the Raiders. Chargers are coming to my Philadelphia Eagles. Y'all know where I'm at. If you don't know who you're dealing with. Aaron Rodgers, not going to talk about him playing in Kansas City. I got Kansas City all day. That's going to do it for us here tonight on Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel. Much love to everybody, top to bottom, for joining us each and every Thursday. We are going to take next Thursday off. Take a moment, say thank you to a veteran because it is Veterans Day, because they have allowed us to be one of the best countries in this world and given us the freedom that we so richly enjoy and are proud each and every day to have in this country of ours. Your man, Eric Wilson. Make sure you check me out Monday and Wednesday nights and Thursdays right here, Alex Fleming's Carousel. And as we always say, either you on or you off.
Carousel. Yeah. Carousel. Yeah. Carousel. This the carousel. On or you off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. What? Knock 'em out. Carousel. 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 This the carousel. On or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off.